So back we are after a small coffee break here with our Xorg stuff. Also, yes, it's the usual fail. Why did it take so long? Besides that, making a coffee. Couldn't easily make a screenshot because Wayland and X thing and X Wayland. I thought I make a screenshot here and anyway, doesn't matter. So no screenshot because the of the Linux desktop. I probably need to package sway snap. So anyway. Continuing with the stuff from the previous video, we quickly wanted to also this is unnecessary stuff. I probably should change my. I probably should make a QEMU alias also to start it with Word.io stuff, tablet and PCIe GL and whatnot and stuff to have you smooth SRI experience. But also, yeah, I wonder why maybe we missed some default font because somehow that didn't have effect here. So why is this grayed out? It tries to load it and then it doesn't work or what? Nah, whatever. Details. Nah. That's what we want unit testing for, right? Anyway, back to this code xrandr. So something in our patch doesn't work because that's how it usually goes with software development. Should we make this? All right, I think previously we so by the way, does it work in this one for, but probably, no, or whatever. Maybe some font is, do we have some, no, doesn't matter. Probably some package of bitmap fonts or who knows what. Not that someone would use an external in production. So we had, I think, something of, all right, we need this bloody output. This is exactly, so what we want to patch is that we don't need to specify this output each time because it's differently named on every machine anyway. Whether it's virtual, which is also silly, and then AMD, Intel, and Novo, and all of them have CRT starting with 0, with 1, with dash, without dash, with this and that and the other, and who cares if it's VGA or HDMI or stuff, right? So this is why I want my usually one display anyway. Just freaking use the TM. So that's what we want to quickly do. All right, best with mode. Just for you to be able to read this a little bit better. Maybe by the way, do we have another more matching 1007? What did I have before? Anyway, doesn't matter too much. So I patched this already, but that didn't quite work. There's still errors out because C and first look at this stuff. So let's continue. Also, yeah, recurring theme. Give me any freaking text editor. Excuse me. I had some virus. Crazy video. Still recovering here. Recovering live on this channel. So, at output, what did we get here? Add output, out of memory, next, all tail output. Where get outputs. Get outputs, you would have thought that runs early, but maybe it doesn't. Wait, how does this even work if that is run? Also, yeah, the whole program in main, right? Just how you developed in the 1980s, but so we first pass the command line, or where is our? I mean, that obviously doesn't. Also, okay, scrolling performance. Do I need to say? How can this performance be so? I mean, this performance is better. Strange. Reverse scrolling. Anyway. Yeah. X11 program. You would think this stuff is the heck optimized in 2022, but so how does it even then work though when we pass it? Where is this get modes? Okay, that is actually early in main. So how does it find output by name? But we don't have the Well, so unfortunately I had to reboot in the meantime, and this wasn't temp.fs. I had to reboot as the VM. I had to restart the VM, not reboot, because I, again, as in the previous video, accidentally see that I probably should actually disable QEMU controls. Do they not have some? Maybe if I run that with, maybe I should always run it with monitor standard.io, then probably I don't have the issue. Maybe that would be an easy workaround for that, because I constantly keep this like moving the mouse and control C, and like way too often. I wonder why this is a default, because like if it happens to me, if I heavily multitask every way too often, 5 minutes, maybe it shouldn't be the default. So I assumed that this would be the main matching function, but apparently this is, how does it even, yeah, let's see, somehow this is strange. It looks also to me that maybe we can't quirk it that easily, but let's see, we had here dd, so we do this again because we killed that away, which, so let's this time index first, not that the bloody xid would matter, index, xid and a string. Also best with a typo. Here the matching is so then I usually do it like that, right? Compile and run what we want to run, and so without something it doesn't match anything with output. Because it needs an arc. Okay, it's doing that twice. So it's first matching shit and then matching that again. That is crazy. Should we mode? Okay, let's maybe 786, right? So it's matching that somehow. It's matching that in total 3 freaking times. This is really shittily programmed. Why would you find output before you even have your freaking outputs? That is a crazy thing. I mean, it's a minor program, also like a minor major program or mode setting. It's not X logo or X eyes. But you would think this stuff is like, also yeah, the best of the industry should have written this, right? I mean, who writes a program? I mean, yes, it's a smaller one, but all the functionality main, everything open coded, not everything, mostly. And then such strange stuff of matching modes that are not yet queried from the Xorg server. So many beginner methods. Who even? Keith Packard or? Yeah, 2001, Keith Packard, Hewlett Packard, Intel Media. Jim Getty is most of the client-side code. Yeah, so you have it. So yeah, find output. So how does it work? Does it returns? How does this parsing work then? That is. So they match that here. Config output, find output by name, which obviously doesn't match something, and then they add the output and set the name. I mean, this probably shouldn't find something, or... And then they add the name of... what was specified. What is stupid parsing stuff? Can't even make this stuff up. You think you quickly patch something and the code is so low quality that you can't even patch it quickly. Nah, did we type no? Missing terminator and config output. Yeah. Add output here, it's a freaking output. This is so stupid. I mean, seriously. I don't want to change all this parsing here now. All I wanted was to make this mode work less shitty. Yeah, what should have been a 5-minute patch is like 1 hour patch, or 1 hour patch. So how does it even work for the preferred case? What do we have? Mode and... I mean, it's set name. Where is it? Change mode. Where do they store the mode? Okay, they set name. Okay, they store config. But this is also so silly. So, I mean, this find output stuff should never work, right? So they run that find output preferred. To me, it looks like this. Would there maybe, are there exceptions where they gather the outputs already? That is so silly. Okay, now I start to see how this works. So in this config output stuff, they store what is to set, and they set this later. I totally like, can't make this low quality code up. This is, so all we wanted is output set. What other sets do they have? Set name. The problem is, okay, they have set name xrd config output mode. What else do they have there? Oh, wait a second. Did they have set preferred? No, they didn't have that. What is this exactly doing? Set kind name string. Okay, maybe if we set that to our, this is name t. Was it what we patched the other day? String xrd index. No, it isn't. We had name kind t. And then they are prized on new sites for all their amazing contributions to open source. So we have string xrd index preferred. How do they use that all over? I mean, for what they even match that? So the thing is, for our microkernel, anyway, I still need to guru meditate how I want all this kind of... So we want graphic stuff in a user space process, obviously, for ease of development, scalability, security. I still wonder how we want like some universal kind of this property set stuff, because somehow for all drivers, even Wi-Fi and stuff, that would be really cool if set name all. If there would be some universal thing, not to like scriptable and not C codable. What does that do? Set name all? Set name? Kind valid? Okay, they have here various helpers for print name. It's so silly how they do that. It's quick patch, no problem. So they run that again. Let's maybe quickly check how they find outputs. That must be they do that again on output track DPI use it. Monitor it. This were both. What happens if we run this with not much CRT, 0 virtual? Segmentation folder even? Okay, maybe because we add this, or maybe we copy that from output. Not output, add output. So we add this as... Why do they name string name xid name string name? Maybe we can somehow YOLO that. Because I don't... Yeah, so much to making it more convenient. I mean, the problem is, I mean, I've done it like 1,000 times, like manually figuring in the output name. The problem is, even for me, like if it would have been a 5-minute patch like I initially thought, then it would be a win-win. Now it's not really a win-win anymore. Ah, shit. No, ISO. Because now it took way too... No, it took way too long for me to ever get this time back. So we don't have... what was it? We want preferred, right? How can we YOLO that? Maybe... Do we have have name preferred. Yeah, we have name preferred. Set. Maybe we use set kind name xid. What did we use as set? Here is set name preferred. Can we not reuse it? Output. Maybe that's already all we needed. If we're lucky. Maybe not though. No, we're not lucky. Because we are here inside, we don't have debug symbols. Someone else is really worth keeping X1 Wayland something. Yeah, both things are not amazing. I still use Xorg. I will continue to use. The problem is always all the people like Wayland. First of all, I couldn't even make a freaking screenshot, right? Sure, I needed that tool and that whatever. It's also crazy that was like we are in a state that you need special tools, and Microsoft would have at least made it compatible on freaking Windows. So, and even I could run ImageMagick import and stuff, but it wouldn't even let me click the bloody window because Wayland and X-Wayland. So, but because all the vintage hardware is anyway not supported on Wayland for decades to come, I've seen myself using Xorg on SG Octane and all the other vintage and retro stuff, or the transmitter and all the other cool stuff that maybe my child soon wants to play with for decades. But I will write a new, because there are not some enough graphic subsystems, I will write a new extremely lightweight and obviously featureless, but isolated and snappy compositing and 3D isolated graphic subsystem, not in C because there are too many, like all the ones in C. Like thank you very much. Like think my other low-level work, right? I want in the next years I want to see 3D isolated stuff spinning on an S3 virtual View and some other vintage stuff with like some 1,000 line of code. Beautiful readable code, of course not feature-rich OpenGL whatever stuff, but basically I want to experiment not only how to efficiently drive hardware, because I mean even Wayland stuff, it's so inefficient, it is crazy, and also work with, and also show that it's still possible to write cool demos or other software for vintage hardware that is snappy and isolated. But anyway. Again, I thought I patched this in 5 minutes. I couldn't each time, but it shouldn't be a surprise to me. Each time I come back to this stuff, I wonder how less than stellar all the source code is. I really wonder what all those famous people have done for decades. So yeah, I will know that I started with that already. I will maybe finish it. After I thought it's a 5-minute job, I thought it's a 50-minute job. I can usually not believe what kind of unmaintainable code other people write in C. Maybe that is also why they are fans of C. Why does this not GCC wrapper? What if I or remove? Why does that not remove? Or do we? What did we had there some? Actually, you know what? Maybe we can. Anyway, append it, you know, let's just not. because we want debug symbols. Is that... darn, it's still stripped, maybe because we have... shit. Probably, or is it running stripped? Yeah. Okay, should we just... do we have... this? You know what, maybe we should simply not run it in the T2 environment. Or we should, darn it. No, the debugger doesn't work. Oh, fuck it. Could be that... I mean, we could guru meditate it. Okay, let's see if... rebuilding. So this is just some random test installation that we're not even shipping. Extremely exotic Muser x32. We just didn't download it. Let's see if rebuilding GDB magically fixes it. If not, we need to further truncate it. Maybe I shouldn't have, yeah, I should not have used a random VM. That's what I get from that. The good thing is it's mostly learning this code there, and where could this crash? Probably after the, maybe we add here after the parsing. Nothing like some alright, no, I don't have that in here, but make mode it still prints, wait a second, it doesn't print out here the output null not found, ignoring. Yeah, something for all outputs. Where does it? Okay, this is in get outputs, does it? So we are still there though. Maybe this works like it replaces the output here if for all outputs. Maybe it reassigns the output here. Here's some found true. Maybe here it's where it's. Yeah, why it matches the outputs first for no good reason when they are no outputs. It's silly. It's crazy, but it's also crazy that one random YouTuber looks at the stuff like 20 years later and wonders what they were thinking. It's not an uncommon font here. Set name all output name at output. So okay, here we check for this output name from out in. Okay, that is the new output name. Okay, apparently I guess so. It's also multiple times running this find output again on each new output. And then it sets this. But maybe I should have reset the parallel building because I'm not even sure whatever parallel that builds or not. What keyboard layout do I even type right now? US? No. That's why everything is so confusing. Output. Yeah, so warning, output not found, ignoring, that is somehow where it must. So how does this work? This is a new X output. And then it's adding this, and the output name is probably output, find output. Do I even do they? So we need to change this matching here somewhere. Did we? Okay, we're adding that. And then we need to match it somehow. Is it update? How should this? I guess, so this find could find that in our predefined list, I guess. Maybe there is where we should. So we have there 0, 0, so that is our. Oh, darn, I already pressed Ctrl C. I guess there we can YOLO that in maybe. That for a preferred mode, because it's Yeah, it's setting all set name all. What exactly set all? It's setting xid string and index. What? Why is it? What is that doing here? Name kind not equal old kind? Why is it doing that? That looks pretty no operation to me. Did they mean to write here assignment? Because that does nothing. Comparing without using the result. This is only one freaking small program, but everywhere I look at. Who thought writing all this stuff in C is an amazing idea in this kind of, yeah, 1000 eyes and the 1001st eye in the year 2022 live on YouTube wonders what the freaking heck the cavemans have done here. Oh man, if I would not recover from COVID, I would get the whiskey out. This looks too bug to me. It probably usually doesn't have an effect because usually it is the same matching kind, but you can't make this stuff up. The crazy thing is that the best of the Xorg industry have designed that, right? And it's like 20 years later, you still wonder what the freaking heck were they thinking. But it's a recurring theme, right? All the people's like, why is the year of the desktop Linux the year of the desktop Linux? Because for 20 years yes, Wayland is a little bit better, but yeah. Hey, we have GDB. Do you think GDB works now? GDB, xrandr, oh wait. xrandr core? Hey, it does something. Maybe natively rebuilding helped it. Oh no, it does specified. Okay, it didn't help. So Musel x32 GDB somehow is not happy. Natively rebuilding didn't help a shit, but I think I already found some major problems. So that was, what was it? It was find output. Oops. So basically what we want to do is, if it is, should we do this still last? Wait a second, should this not potentially maybe work already? That if it's name kind, name preferred. Okay, this active check would be down below, but this is not the most important right now. First, I don't want to have it crashing anymore. No, it doesn't. Why do we not? Do we have a degraver? Oh, I spelled this wrong. Oh, that could be a thing. Thanks. Thanks for that. It's anyway not happy, but the error is indeed another one. Thanks for that. I'm already disappointed by the state of C code. But yeah, each people always like, yay, see, we got this. We are the leader of the industry and have done graphic drivers for 20 years in kernel and stuff. And each time I look at this, like, yeah, boys, what were they thinking? So this should do return that here. Why does it not name kind? Do we compare the right thing here for outputs the name, or is for outputs? Wait a second. Maybe we need actually, maybe we need common is here also. So find output name t. Maybe I think we're comparing the wrong thing here. Because I thought it works differently. What we find output, because the input here is, where was it, get modes? Get outputs. This is a new output, so they want to find the new output to add, and that it has not preferred. So we would need to short circuit that to the existing mode. Find mode, find output. So then that would be if this is a stored mode, stored output, that is output kind, common name kind, output. So that is then how that would work to reuse their structure again. So a little bit YOLO'd into there. Hey, I think this works. So yeah, returning that output there, and then we have virtual. Yeah, so this works. Let's see if we can set this to 1280 by. No, why not? So it does not yet work fully, maybe. Returning output, somehow this does not yet work quite right, I think. Someone's listing that somehow it's not yet doing what I wanted it to do. At least it's not crashing anymore. Yep. Okay, so we now return the right mode, I think. Wait a second, maybe we should check if this still modified binary. Oh, wait a second. No, we checked that it still works because we just changed the mode, so that works. So maybe we still need to here set name config at config, so set name config out. Config output. Wait a second, what code do I have still? Don't tell me I set name. Oh no, this is, I think, why? What code do I have here? This will not all be in. What was here originally in there? All right, I think it was complaining previously. Why do I have that too? Find output preferred. Right. I first try because Okay, this anyway doesn't work because we don't have output there, so or maybe they have it in there if you run output multiple times and then to store the configuration in the same, maybe that is the reason why. Yeah, this code is less than the last stuff. Okay, so config output, so what is the difference to output? We have here only config at output set name to name string stuff. That is the only thing, config output. Do we assign that? Yeah, yes, we do assign that there. Set name preferred. Config output set name preferred. I think this has a chance to work like that. Wait. Why does this not set? Wait a second. This is not setting this change requested flag. Maybe that is. You can't mix this stuff up. Why do they only conditionally set this on output and not on each change? You can't mix this code quality up, it's bizarre. The problem is also people watch this, not this video, people look into this code and read this and people grow up, people for 20 years grew up with like, this is outstanding code quality and this is why we have this mountain of foundations of Rust and Sand, and people in university thinking that this is how software is done, which like, no, this is, hey, we did it in only freaking probably 1 hour in total of this stuff. William Leslie is happy to see TW. Yeah. So yeah, we did it. It's freaking working, TM. That's exactly what I wanted. I hope I wrote it so in a way that existing code paths do not break, but we only reuse their one preferred bit, and the other code passes only let's further. How do we best do it? Do we still have some original? Yeah, we have that. So move xrandr original to vanilla, yes. We need to delete some printf though. Let's quickly do this still. Oh no, I probably. But also recon theme, I mean, it's except no, yes, I actually did not quit that. Printf. Oops, that was not mine. Oops, hello, printf. No, cancel that strangely. So what do we have there? Fatal warning. Arg error. Oh, come on. Print verbose, print name, output. Yeah, that was ours. It was ours. Don't need that. Oops, that anymore. And scaling. No. CRT disabled. Verbose. I think there was at least one more in. Oh no, not. There must be more. There is. Get outputs. This one and this one, and then I think we had this in either output or mode, probably, no? Ah, there's one more here. Did I this time quit this though? There's a new line, but we can edit that away. Do we have any other? No. So what I usually do is just use X as a file name, and I don't remember what I actually freaking used there. And then I just rename that there to preferred. Actually, let's maybe better check if I had a nice header there, but we did not yet. Had that. And then source X here, because usually, maybe we should actually add a nice header like, also coffee. Probably should make Irish coffee here with some Irish whiskey also as a bonus for tackling another freaking patch. Make xrandr more convenient by using first output if none was specified. Should I even put my... I haven't. Oh man, 1 week in bed and you can't type properly anymore. Should I even put my name under hacky stuff like this? Also, yeah, this is a crazy one. I mean, theoretically both are kind of upstream versy. I just don't want to waste my shit here. Also, this is actually superfluous. I just don't want to recurrently waste my lifetime discussing garbage code with upstream people of like, you have YOLO'd in that. I mean, the code is garbage, but you have YOLO'd that in not to our standard. It's like, yeah. Maybe that is why my best friends call T2 the best Linux distribution. Although they might be biased. 1, 2, 3. So that was from 6 to 8, just cleaning there. How many did I delete? It's also a bit further, not that it would really matter too much. Anyway, it will apply with fuzz. And then here also we just trim that. Yeah, this is all in all not really much, but due to the nature of the lesson stellar code, it probably took an hour, 1 hour to even understand this relatively strange coded code. And like, yeah, sometimes one-liner take 8 hours to find, right? And sometimes even just adding the tiniest convenience to decade-old C code. Also not the most better what to. So let's maybe see, by the way, if does it still work, like output foo for mode something, or let's use an existing mode like 1 to 80 by, okay, output foo not found, so it still works, so far so good. Virtual 1, okay, that also works. And then, I mean, yeah, I will later see, eventually in some months to come, if it works properly with multiple outputs, because right now with this virtual machine, I mean, yeah. Mostly, so the thing is, mostly I use it on virtual machines, and then it's super annoying when like you either vintage and retro some quick testing over virtual machines, and then it's like, what is the bloody output name, and just you want -- mode something. Also makes scripting easier if you have like a portable roadware SSD you plug it into everything, and you have there some, if this device and this custom config and whatnot, then potentially you don't need to type the name. And also it changed sometimes, right? I had multiple times in 20, like, or like in 15, it's xrandr, it shouldn't be that old, but in 15 years I had to change my scripts multiple times because at ATI and AMD and Intel they multiple times changed the output names. Also, yeah, with adding features also from DVI to DP, DisplayPort, DP whatever, and sometimes 0 index and not counting from 0, counting from 1, with dash without without dash. I actually was considering in T2 to maybe, I do this for Wi-Fi drivers already in the kernel. I patch all the Wi-Fi drivers to use whatever, a common WLAN, Wi-Fi, whatever network prefix. And I was actually thinking whether I should do the same for Xorg driver output names, just as people in the comments say like, yeah, the future is Wayland and who cares, and stuff. I've never done this, but just like to have like one standard of using dashes or not dashes, I don't know, maybe not dashes. And 0 based or 1 based or whatever. Maybe I do this actually, you know what, let's be professionals and put this on the to-do, like what all, how's even my, all right, I think I changed out of there, right? Do I, is this not, where am I here even? Where is there not a, no, I'm confused. Am I in this? No. Not sure what I've done there. So there, that is at least the right thing. So eventually, but yeah, the crazy thing is, I could kinda, I mean, 20 years ago, I tried to make the best desktop Linux, which was 20 years ago, like in 1998, when there were next to no others, which, yeah, I mean, we were not that unknown. I actually don't even, I mean, the crazy thing is the Rock Linux community was actually pretty decent 20 years ago. I'm not entirely, I mean, except some internal fights over, I mean, it's like personalities, even with Claire and me. I mean, I'm basically got too pissed to constantly ever changing and breaking stuff. Yeah, somehow, I don't know, really. I mean, I try to extremely professionalize that, and with Linux magazine articles. I mean, other people also, what was his name, Chris Hamilton or so, from, I think, Singapore. He also had some articles, and I don't even quite, I mean, maybe it also wasn't good enough, the most easy to use. We also supported more architectures in Slackware. Yeah, maybe it boils mostly, I mean, other Linux distributions also have their quirks, right? I mean, Slackware is also not the most easy to use, or Arch Linux or Gentoo, with all the documentation in the wiki that you need to do it. Yeah, maybe just a year too late, maybe just some, yeah, it's hard to tell. And also people moved on. Obviously, there were so many people Rock Linux. They also simply moved on, right? There was, as you see here, not really money to be made with your fancy little Linux distribution. And then people get a job and family and stuff, and they obviously have zero time left to continue to that. Anyway, but yeah, I need to write a microkernel, an educational research microkernel and graphics subsystem. Obviously, it will not be as big as Linux and stuff, and just as a hobby, but theoretically, how did I? Maybe I should have first written down my thought of what you're saying. You find upstream Kais to be pretty chill. You mean Kais Packard or? Sanitize. Did I sanitize? Uniform, unify, Xorg driver output names and 1 based or 0 based? I don't know. What I mean, the crazy thing is not only 0 based indexing and programming languages of C-based C kind stuff or others, and like Lua also, where some other languages are 1 based, which initially I really hated with Lua, then I grew to actually like it. So obviously it's not the biggest thing of the world, but I get where this assembly instruction set architecture-based, zero-based addressing of indexing from your pointer comes from. But one-based indexing certainly also has its benefits, also being one additional subtraction less efficient. But I would actually argue for users, it makes no sense, right? That you have Ethernet 0, like all the kernel stuff starting from 0, especially the user visible stuff, like your Ethernet devices, why is it not Eth1, right? Ethernet 1. Similar to your outputs, I would argue most users, it's like, which is your 0th, like it's your first VGA port, right? So I would actually need to check. At least I know they use different dashes, like some use VGA-0 and some use VGA0 or 1. I'm not sure if there are differences in 0 and 1 base, but I would actually argue it would be saner in kernels and surrounding subsystems if they're in user space like graphic subsystems stuff. If stuff is 1 based for user interaction, that stuff is 0 based is not really intuitively and only explainable to users like, hey, look, in computer science we start counting with 0 because we are special snowflakes or stuff. It's like, yeah, I don't know, need to check that. Maybe it's not easily doable 1 based, maybe I remember that wrong, but at least the dashes and stuff are a little bit annoying. I'm not even sure if maybe some even have DVI and TMDS or whatnot. Anyway, it's a chaos. And yeah, anyway, let's commit this before we Control-C that again. And then I can finally freaking rest in peace with my bloody xrandr output name stuff. So Xorg, there, let's xrandr of, let's see what we got there. Oh, by the way, I think I didn't test build it, or did I? Unpackaged, or maybe I trust, with all this talking, maybe I test built it already. William Leslie said figured output names named by udefd, not as far as, and the Xorg output names are named by the Xorg drivers. It's hard-coded in their driver code there, of similar to the Linux kernel of whatever, netdev register or something. You simply have, I can actually show you that. By the way, this build, let's commit that there. By the way, do we need to test that again? Because we mangled up the patch in a way that it doesn't work anymore. 1.24, okay, this still works. Does it? Virtual, there's a little bit of testing. Not that I broke last minute, because shit like that sometimes happens, even to me. But that looks good. Oops. X logo, okay, I don't need this anymore. Fix xrandr preferred to actually work. TM. Wait a second. I don't really need to expose the links of the password. And then where's even my freaking mouse cursor? Somehow hanging in some. What do we show you? Maybe the password screen, like that one. And I wanted to show you the patch stuff there. And that looks like if as naming or so, and it's actually not even that many left. Some time ago, the Linux kernel upstream, they changed already, so maybe, but even it's M Wi-Fi X, which I think, so yeah, there was like MLAN, like who in their sane state of mind would name bloody Wi-Fi stuff MLAN? It's like, seriously, what drugs are you taking? You need help, serious help. Maybe you should not even left to a patch and a keyboard and computer anymore for that. Wi-Fi I could kind of sort of understand. I would actually, the crazy stuff is I think most people prefer to use Wi-Fi. I slightly wonder, did Apple also rename this stuff, maybe something? I would actually personally, I mean, it's crazy that the Linux kernel also use WLAN. I would say Wi-Fi is more intuitive, but now maybe because it was less to patch, I think I personally would have preferred Wi-Fi, but because it was less to patch, I patched the few remainings to WLAN and not like bloody, although yes, old garbage, but this is not old garbage. And is it more old? So it's only 3, it's mostly that. Actually, I probably should kind of check. I mean, it's probably I patched what I came across. I wonder if one of those was actually the Apple Airport initial cube stuff that I still have. But yeah, so that is how it looks like. Usually it is allocnet, yeah, allocnet dev, and you can have their foo whatever, and the kernel iterates the stuff in the namespace and adds then the index number. But yeah, I mean, who thought that is a good idea? I mean, that even the Linux kernel, that Linus Torvalds himself allows such chaos. And I think it were more. I think they unified, they sanitized some of those. I think like some point in time they were like at least 5 or maybe 7. I mean, so really some. Anyway, this is how it looks, and this is similar to the output stuff. How many have this been in 2006? Let's maybe does it work like that? Oh, it does. Ah, you see, there is wireless unified host AP. So yeah, how many did we? Actually, all this were only 2. Okay, fine. It changed over time. Also host app. I was like, yeah, whatever. Changed over time. Stuff added, stuff removed. But anyway, not super amazing stuff. But that's as usual code. Usually not amazing stuff. And then people on YouTube previous video, right? Code doesn't need to be perfect. Like, yes, this is exactly why. Previous video, right? There where someone said they are afraid of perfect codes. Like, yeah, that is how non-perfect code looks after 20 years, and people like wondering what's doing. Anyway, so I guess that's then for today. I guess we can then finally, of course, this patch will not be in the stable release because obviously this is not yet as much tested and so on. Mobile. Anyway, this, I don't know, the name is stupid. I don't know what they were thinking. The drugs must be good, whatever they are smoking there at that company. Also, I wonder even what the people are saying. Like all the Wi-Fi drivers have one name, and no, they are this special snowflakes that they need to use another name. Anyway, it's yeah. So the thing is, so yeah, we solved the Firefox mystery. So we probably have everything built now, and then I probably should do some last minute testing. And all right, did we want to actually? But now it's already an hour again gone. Actually, I thought I commit this stuff and actually merge it. The kernel config from the other day with smaller and so on config. But as we know, wasted another hour for this bloody xrandr stuff. So I could, yeah, I probably also have some. By the way, does the does the precious old PC not making the stuff up that I have it? So I didn't take it to Junior. As I said, I'm a little bit worried that he destroys it. Maybe gets it for this Christmas though. Leave it going below. Am I a good father for thinking to give my child a 15-year-old laptop for Christmas? Is it a good father or a bad father? Leave it comments below. Does it still power on? Ah shit, the battery's dead. At least I think it's dead. Ah shit, that didn't last long. Ah, okay, the battery's gone. Garbage. So the problem is we don't get the battery, right? So that is of course a disappointment and not totally a surprise. I wonder if, and it's only, how long is it? It's only 2 or 3 weeks, right? Shit. I'm okay with this battery. My son, of course, deserves something better. The other thing is I was wondering if the performance is good enough of this 433 for like stuff like some NES emulate, SNES. Do we have one in T2? But now first I hope, so I mean, thankfully I didn't glue the battery back together. I wonder if it, but yeah, probably the battery chemical are totally garbage now. The problem is you don't easily get this, just the cells. There were some lithium iron phosphate, something. And maybe I should check, I mean, does one OLPC, one laptop Org still sell the batteries? Because on eBay I found none. Oh, here's one emulator we have here without much. Is it still a thing, or is it? Oh, it's still a thing. What performance does it need though? Is it even, does it have a latest 151? 151, okay, that is what we have. Yeah, I need to check. That would actually be, I mean, it's a huge thing, I mean, besides a dead battery, but that at least would be some use for that. Anyway, some release testing to be done, at least the PowerPC stuff works. But yeah, it's also crazy that there is some kind of bug incompatibility of running the PowerPC kernel in QEMU like that, at least not ideal for testing. Anyway, so what I probably do here is commit those. By the way, is this something useful? This is right, fix there some typo because it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, maybe I still merge them over just to have this nice in the history. But yeah, so we probably shouldn't have any build errors left. And we have not, if I didn't have a typo there. So what I still need to, first of all, I sometimes soon need a proper command line parsing for this build driver to not always edit around in that, and then I need more tests and also like not generate those ISOs if tests fail, so that I on a quick glance see which ISOs actually build. So config build, okay, create error list should be empty, then run the tests, theoretically profiling eventually, and no, didn't commit the latest changes. And then we release that. And then it's finally time to... Yeah, so much work just to run a tiny little unsuccessful Linux distribution. Is it worth it? Leave in the comments below. Maybe I should. You know what? Maybe it's time for a new poll to post our YouTube awareness, our YouTube coverage. To boost the YouTube algorithm. Maybe it's time for a poll of, is it even freaking worth to maintain a tiny little unsuccessful Linux distribution? ST2. Also this test fails. Thank you very much. Need to look into, maybe it might also be timing or whatnot, or something. Yeah, this is normal. This stuff doesn't build with Muso because no. Anyway, that's it for today. Release is coming. And then people can finally enjoy the latest edition of many bugs fixed, more stuff, and yeah, bugs and updates and configuration marginalities. And if you emerge updates at home, even more amazing xrandr to modify the first preferred output for easier handling of one freaking output TM. Whatever is wrong with that one, this test is failing, but might be timing, might be, need to check. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Hope you learned something. Have a nice Sunday or night, and I hope to see you soon for all the next fun stuff to come. Hey, and zero drop friends over LTE.